Ty, you about ready to set a personal best record today?
I like PRs.
So it turns out we have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can't just sit here all day and speak into the microphone and give you just all sorts of value. So,
I mean, if we're going to put blame on somebody, should we put blame on the people that aren't listening right now? Because if you were listening, then this could be our full-time
this could be our full-time job. Yeah. So it's your fault for not sharing the show.
For those of you that aren't listening, it's your fault.
No, but we've got full-time jobs that we got to get back to. So today we're going to go fast and furious, get you some good value, and get out of here and let you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And today I'm going to talk to people like me, people that think for whatever reason I've got in my head that every time I show up to the gym, I've got to go balls to the wall. And there is no relaxation. There's no lower intensity. It's got to be, if I'm not crawling out of there, it was not worth my time.
Yeah.
And that's who I'm talking to today is the people like that. If you're somebody who it's a fight to get you into the gym, and when you get in there, you're just scrolling through Instagram and you're going to take it nice and easy, you can probably turn today's episode off. You don't need to hear today's. I'm talking to the ones that have a mental illness with as far as intensity goes. And I'm going to convince you today, if you're like me, why low-intensity training is good to implement and sprinkle in to your training program. Again, this is something that mentally I can't get a grasp of all the time. So it's good to remind myself that there is value in lower intensity training. What is lower intensity training? I think it's probably best to define it and start off from that base. As the name implies, LISS, L-I-S-S, or low intensity steady state cardio, is a form of aerobic training performed at low to moderate intensity. The goal is to keep your heart rate constant as opposed to fluctuating like in HIIT training. And you want to exert yourself, but not so hard. And the way that it's described a lot of times, if you and I were going to embark on a low-intensity training session, we would still be able to somewhat hold a conversation. Maybe not like normal, like we're sitting here today, but we're not so out of breath and working so intensely that we can't continue a conversation. That's the type, that's the effort and the intensity that you're attacking LISS training with.
Yep.
So what are the benefits? Why would you want to go into the gym and do this type of training? Number one, decrease in resting heart rate, increase in stroke volume. So these two things are cyclical in nature. As an increase in stroke volume results in a decrease in resting heart rate. An increase in stroke volume means the heart is pumping more blood per stroke, therefore increasing its efficiency. Because more blood is being pumped per stroke, the absolute number of strokes is reduced, hence lowering the resting heart rate. So this type of training enhances those two components.
Yeah.
You think about, there's an old saying, you only have so many beats in your heart, only so many pumps in a lifetime. This is allowing you to maximize and slow down and get more out of your heart. In other words, your heart has to work less hard the more efficient that it is. And that's what this LISS training does. Number two, increase capillary and mitochondrial density.
Oh, love mitochondrial density.
About to get super,
there we go.
Super into the weeds here. The greater number of capillaries, the larger and denser the capillary bed is. As the capillary bed becomes larger, the greater the oxygen supply to the muscle becomes. More oxygen, obviously, is a good thing. And the mitochondria are structures in the cells that produce adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, more commonly known as ATP. And what does ATP do? It captures energy obtained in the breakdown of food molecules and releases it to fuel other cellular processes. So more mitochondria equals more ATP, which equals more energy. This is good for you meatheads out there, as it allows you for quicker recovery during your strength training set.
Yeah.
So if you're having a hard time you're doing an intense set of cable rows or deadlifts or whatever, and you feel like your heart's pumping super high and you can't catch your breath, and it's hard for you to recover for that next set, this low-intensity training is going to help you in between sets with that recovery process.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the low intensity, just so I'm capturing this correctly, in the middle of a tough workout, you take it down a notch.
No, this would be more a separate day. Yeah,
Okay,
separate day. You're doing your,
that
then translates to your more intense days.
All right.
That's going to build upon your more intense days.
All right. So our programming, like the gym that I'm at, box, whatever you call it, that we're at right now, is we typically do Thursdays, right? So we're Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fairly intense. You know, we'll do a really, not heavy, but depends on the program, the week of the cycle, whatever that we're in. Training cycle, not steroid cycle, just so we're all clear here. Is Thursdays typically are not a a lower intensity though, where it's like, okay, like you said, this is usually conversation day, maybe it's bench day, maybe it's, you know, focus on core, higher focus on flexibility, stuff like that. And I didn't realize that. Like, I mean, there's always like recovery days, but that's usually just a day that it's like, all right, guys, this is kind of more of the fun day. We're going to do some of the fun stuff. It's like lower intensity. It's not a big deal. I didn't realize the science behind it.
And that's a smart coach, because I've been in their shoes. You think you got to crush people every time they come to the gym, or else they don't want to come back. Yeah. So good for your coaches to recognize scientifically why they do it, but also from a monetary standpoint. Yeah. Are we going to lose people if they don't think they're working hard? Because, again, this is the mentality of a lot of people, especially CrossFitters. Yeah. CrossFitters, I would argue, are the most intense training type people, or at least they're drawn to that. Yeah. And so to get a CrossFitter to tone it down a notch, that's tough to do. Yeah. I'm sure you feel that.
It is, because and it's great. And I didn't realize, because really Fridays are really tough days. Usually we'll do like some sort of hero WOD, if you're familiar with like CrossFit. Those are usually workouts that are designed in memory of someone who's given their life for public service, whether it's military or civil service. And usually those are super hard. Yeah. And it makes sense to be able to supplement into that workout and that programming is that recovery day.
Yeah. So not only is it going to help you on those intense days, your recovery time's going to be better if you're doing this type of training, but also for the next number 4, it's number 3, easy to recover and can be done more often. So you're talking about you have a less intense day on Thursday, and that way you're able to go super hard on Friday
and Saturday. So that's like a 6. So I'm on a 6-day program, which some people are like, oh yeah, that's 6 days. Like, that's insane. Oh, well, I feel great. Yeah. Like, why would I not continue to go? But this supplementing that day into it does make sense.
Yeah. CrossFit and another high intensity type exercise, it's tough on the joints. It's tough on the muscles. It's tough on the everything. And so to have these lower intensity days can enhance that recovery. It's a little easier. You can do more of them as opposed to having to take 2 or 3 days off from a super intense workout. Number 4, greater capacity to use fat as a fuel source. So you hear this a lot in the fitness world. Low intensity cardio burns, you'll get skinnier because you do it, or it burns more fat than high intensity training. It's a little misleading when they say that, because yes, it's true. Aerobic exercise, long intense aerobic exercise, calls on, by nature of the energy system, it calls on your fat stores, your fat as a fuel system, or as a fuel energy system there. Whereas high intensity, short, quick bouts, that's going to call more on your carbohydrates and glucose. Yeah. So yes, it is true. Lower intensity burns more fat as a fuel source. That is very true. But it's still all about the total energy balancing. And we've said this before, but I don't want to get people confused. Just because you're burning fat as a fuel source doesn't mean it's better for you necessarily as an overall weight loss. Yeah. You're going to need both, because the high intensity is going to help you burn more calories throughout the day, which is better for you, obviously, from an overall standpoint.
From a metabolism, we talked about this last week or the week before, was in that workout, right, you're calling on fat as energy. But does that spike your metabolism as high, keep you at a higher rate than anaerobic training, resistance training?
Right. So you're going to burn, let's just, for easy numbers, let's say you do 30 minutes of treadmill walking and you burn 200 calories. Yeah. That's about all you're going to burn for the day from that workout. Yeah. Whereas if you go HIIT training and go super intense for 30 minutes, not only are you burning probably more calories in that session because your heart rate's a lot higher and spiked, but you're also, as your body's trying to recover and come back to baseline, it's also burning more calories. Yeah. So again, it's using those carbs as its fuel source to get you through that training, but it's also burning more calories at the end of the day. That's so don't get those things confused. But it is a good thing to use fat as a fuel source, right? It's still a good thing. I'm not saying that. But if you think that's what's going to help me lose all the weight, it's a little misleading.
Do both.
Exactly. And then number 5, this one's more anecdotal in nature. I'm sure there's studies behind it. I just didn't take the time to research it. But for me, it fuels creativity.
Oh, yeah.
It fuels like my good ideas, I feel like, come a lot of times when I'm out walking.
Yeah.
Or when I'm doing this kind of steady state. There's not a lot of thought involved. I don't have to, think about going to the next station. It's just I'm on a path, and I'm on what's the word when you're autopilot.
Yeah.
So it allows my brain to be creative.
Yeah. And I think too, like think about in the work setting is when you're at a job and it's intense all the time, right? All you're thinking about doing is completing tasks. All you're thinking about, like, the actual rest and recovery, is energizing in itself. Like, it's like, all right, I don't have to, it's not so intense. I'm not just worn out all the time from going hard. Like, I enjoy that. I enjoy when, like, it's programmed for me and I get to go super hard, or it's pre-programmed and I do it myself and I go hard all the time. I like that. But just mentally, there's an central nervous system element that if you're not, like, thinking, hey, I've got a PR today, or I've got to hit something that's going to crush me, or that, like, your central nervous system itself, that just gives that a break as well. So even from a recovery standpoint, now again, anecdotal, there is science, but again, we don't have it, but when you're not pushing yourself just mentally, like going in and saying, all right, man, I got to hit a 3-rep max on front squats today. Like, and you're just in, like, hey, I'm going to be doing some couch stretches and some light thrusters and some like okay, just your central nervous system, it has the ability to rest and recover. And to your point, the actual creativity standpoint, when you have nothing to do and nothing to think about and allow the space for your mind to actually work and wonder, that's a good thing. And us as a society, we don't do that. We talked about it during 75 Hard. That's the best thinking that I do is on that second outdoor workout when I'm doing like a run or a weighted walk or something like that, is because now I can just clear my mind. I started, like, it was funny, during 75 Hard, I was doing the first 3 or 4 weeks, I would run with music. And really 2/3 of it, I just didn't listen to anything. It was quiet. And that was like my favorite time of day. Granted, or night. Usually it was nighttime when I do it, but
yeah. The nature of you and my day is stressful. We're parents. We've got stressful jobs.
Yeah.
We're under the gun pretty much from the moment we wake up.
Yeah.
And so if you're always stressed or in a stressful state, going in and doing another high intensity stressful train, your body doesn't know. I mean, it does know the difference, but that's just another stress you're putting on your body. So these low intensity days are great to sprinkle in there from that standpoint of, I'm stressed all day long. I need something that's going to take the stress away, relieve the stress a little bit, at least not be quite as intense. And again, I've gotten to the point where I love doing something every day. I used to think, like, I have to take days completely off, like do nothing.
Lay on the couch.
I've abandoned that, and now I want to do something every day. So it's good to sprinkle in these low intensity days because I don't have to jack myself up and go get after it 7 days a week.
And you brought up a great point. As parents, that's just constant, right? You could have a day job or night job, whatever your life is, whatever life phase you're in. But when you come home, that's when the real job starts. So if you're building this in, right, that is just creating a nice little break for you.
I'm reading a book right now, and we'll probably do an episode on it here in a little bit, but it's the science behind willpower. And one of the things it talks about, and this is hard for me to accept, but one of the things you do have a reserve of willpower, like, throughout the day. There is only so much willpower that you can exert in any given day. And if you spend it all on parenting, job stress, you're not going to have much left to go in and attack a workout full intensity. So on these days where you've got a lot of stress going on outside of the gym, it's a great time to add these lower intensity. Not only are you still going to get a good benefit out of it, but it's going to be healthier for you in the long run. So again, the 5 benefits: number 1, decreases heart rate and increases stroke volume. Number 2, increases capillary and mitochondrial density. Number 3, it's easy to recover from, and you can do them more often. Number 4, greater capacity to use fat as a fuel source. And then number 5, fuels creativity and best ideas. Again, this is a mind, for people like me, it's hard to get my mind wrapped around that I can go in and I can do a lower intensity and still get some benefit. Now that also doesn't give you an excuse
to only
go
do
in
5 days a week and do
that, and it's not like it's a day off. You're still putting in some effort.
Yeah,
it's just not quite as intense.
Yeah.
As maybe you would normally do. So some of my favorite ways to do this, I did it this morning actually. I'll throw on a weight vest, I'll crank up the incline on my treadmill, and I'll walk for 30 minutes. Yeah. Not super fast. I could still hold a conversation, but I'm sweating pretty good by the end of it. So it's not easy, but it's also not super intense like I would normally do. So that's one of my favorite things. Or I'll get on the Echo bike for 15 or 20 minutes and just go.
So you can have conversations while on the Echo bike?
I don't go that fast. Usually like 15 calories a minute, something like that.
Okay.
But those are my two favorite things. I can't stand, running. I don't like running.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. Maybe I should do it more. But those are my two favorite forms. And usually I try to go around that 30 minute mark.
Yeah, the weighted walks, I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, I love those.
Depending on where you live and stuff like that, I'm really lucky just because I've got terrain changes. I've got really cool scenery, so I enjoy being outside doing that.
Yeah, if you're just walking on flat ground, the weight vest really isn't going to do a whole lot for you. So don't get too caught up in that. Oh, I missed.
Now don't not if it's hey, wear a vest, don't wear a vest, wear a vest.
Wear a vest, yeah. Choose what is a hard right over an easy left.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if you get at it inclined too with that weight vest. Yep. So anyway, Fast and Furious today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Remember, this Sunday, we've been announcing it for 6 months at this point.
Come on.
This Sunday, Cowboys versus Packers. Tyler, Darren, myself will be at the League up at Choctaw Casino and Resort. Tyler's got his Cowboys hat on today. I forgot about this. But we haven't been announcing this, but I'll announce it today. Darren's doing an autograph session.
No.
Yeah. And myself as well, obviously. I'm doing an autograph session as well.
That's what I was hoping.
Obviously. Tyler's going to be our bodyguard, keeping all the people away from my line and the few people in Darren's line. I'm going
to filter everybody over to Darren's line. We just got to just for his ego, just so that he's not crushed.
No, but seriously, Darren will be signing autographs 2 p.m. at the League, Choctaw Casino Resort. The game starts at 3:25.
Come on.
We're just going to be hanging out, watching ball. Buddy. Packers suck.
Easy.
They lost again.
Look, you say that. You say that, and they're going to show up.
But it's at Green Bay, right?
It is.
Yeah, so Green Bay's always tough at home. So it should be a great game. Should be a great time. Come see us at the League, Choctaw Casino Resort, this Sunday, November 13th. 2 p.m. for autographs, 3:25 game time.
Yep. Let's go.
Is that it?
Yeah, hey, just pray for me that I can get back. We're about to go enter a tropical storm. We're on the East Coast, so just pray that we make it back.
Yeah.
Praying. We're actually literally on a coastal island.
Oh, you're going today, right?
Georgia.
Or tomorrow?
Leave tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Yeah, hopefully I get back. If not, we're going to be driving.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.